Let's see what he's talking about, man.
That respects your time. I'm kidding. I'm not going to ever do that clickbait title again, but to be honest, I'm not quite sure what title I'm going to use for this video, but I think I put together a solid video for those of you interested in Blue Protocol. I don't want to make this video too long though, so I'll try to go over everything the best that I can for you young Zoomers out there. Blue Protocol is a Japanese anime-inspired MMORPG that is expected to be released sometime this year.
Yes.
And I recently got access to the JP network test because I have a totally real, super hot girlfriend living in Japan that let me use her account. And before you completely discount this game as another weeb game, well, I mean, it kind of is.
I'm about to say it is a weeb game. What are you talking about, bro? Because I'm gonna play the hell out of that just because I am a weeb. Why are you doing my stuff? I am a huge weeb, and I will be playing the shit out of this game because that's what weebs do. We play anime games, and we love them.
But I actually feel that Blue Protocol will be a pretty decent MMORPG release in 2023. It does have some flaws that I'll discuss in this video, but also contains some.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I want to see a little bit more gameplay of it. So I wonder if I can find some gameplay of it because I want to see if it's the same monsters that Bandai uses in most of their games, like the Tale series. I think I've made a video. Of course, you guys already know I did make a video about this already. But if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the stuff that they already had made was in like the same. I ain't gonna say the same thing, but almost like the same type of monsters. They're in this game as well. So
some elements that
I wonder if I'm gonna see them.
The beta wasn't over and excited for the Western launch.
Now click the bounce.
Aspen,
the game let you do it.
Aspen, bro.
I'm kidding, not that, but we'll touch more on that later. Okay, right out the gate, this game is visually stunning. I mean, visuals are always subjective. But for a game running on Unreal Engine 4, the stylized graphics made exploring and just chilling out in the world truly an experience. I think most people who you ask who have played this game will share a similar take. That paired with the music makes your journey through the game so immersive that I mean it's pretty easy to overlook some of the flaws that currently exist in the game. The attention to detail in certain areas of the game was so well done that I just found myself exploring the city.
So I want to know the bad and good stuff about it. That's what I want to know. Like, start telling me the good and bad stuff about it.
I never do that type of shit. I mean, I would legit just stare at my character. Not like that, but I would just catch myself staring at the screen with my character looking off into the sunset. No, the fucking pig! No! This fucking doggo! You son of a bitch! Oh my god! Oh no!
Yo, he smacked the shit out of his assholes to build him, bro. Yo, he smacked the crap out of him, bro.
Brought on award-winning Japanese composer Hiroyuki Sawano, who is known for his work on Attack on Titan, Seven Deadly Sins, One Piece, and other animated shows/films.
He hit me with the One Piece.
That damn good. Even some of the early boss fights that aren't necessarily anything to write home about felt like an epic encounter because the music was so well done. Now, in my experience, the polish of the game was pretty good overall. I know some people had poor performance in the cities, but I guess it can just depend on your PC. So take this with a grain of salt, but for me, even in a jam-packed city during peak hours for a network test, I had good performance. I mean, it was miles better than a lot of other games I've played in the past. The movement,
and to say that he did it, I think a VPN. I think he did a VPN, if I'm not mistaken. To say he did it in a VPN setting, that's hella good, man. That's really hella good. I'm just hoping the servers out here are the same way.
Combat, the interaction with the NPCs, I mean everything.
But then again, I'm pretty sure cloud-based AWS. I think it's gonna do damn good.
It didn't feel like a beta for most of it, and that's pretty rare for a new MMO release nowadays. There were some weird graphical bugs, but I could count them on one hand. I also wanted to discuss the social systems in this game because I think they did a pretty good job there. There are many cool interactions that you can have with other players through various emote-like features. You can hold hands with what will most likely be a dude while roaming throughout the town. Other players to a game of rock, paper, scissors to settle some cringy internet online beef over which anime is best, and dance parties that will auto-sync when nearby other players. Additionally, there's a pretty solid dependency for other players within the game. Nearby players are able to resurrect down players for a limited amount of time. There's these world challenge events that frequently take place.
I mean, like most MMOs, right? I mean, they have a point of a series more or less of always having some type of world event. So I mean, that's kind of
which
normal.
honestly aren't the best experience. It's like this elite mob, but it has a ton of HP, and I definitely think the scaling on those mobs need to be revisited, but you will need a lot of people in order to clear it. We also had access to this world boss encounter where you needed 30 people. It was an instance encounter, but you fought this giant lizard monster, and
Damn.
the overall cinematics and visuals were pretty impressive for an early zone. Essentially, when
Jesus.
playing Blue Protocol, you'll find that surviving out within the world and completing dungeons and quests is much easier in a group. However, I will say in some cases, it does take away a bit of the fun and challenge in most scenarios, so I thought it was
I mean, dealing with the MMO. I mean, that's some team time. Like when I do play Final Fantasy 14. I mean, that tends to be the thing, right? I mean, most people they want to be able to play with their friends. They want to be able to you know, to clear a dungeon with it. And I guess they made it to the point where if you can't clear a whole dungeon by yourself, I mean, eventually you don't want to partner with nobody or you don't meet people. So I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think, man? I don't know. Like to
just
me,
nice that
like
you
that's
can
kind
do
of the
much
purpose
content
of
solo
MMO.
rather than always needing a group. All right, let's talk about combat. You know, my roommate had played BP a few years back and told me the combat was complete ass. So I went into this thinking the combat was going to be, well, a huge disappointment. And honestly, it was a pleasant surprise. It must have changed a lot over the past couple of years. I mean, coming from Lost Ark and even dabbling in BDO, combat is something that is kind of make it or break it for me. I even had a hard time playing World of Warcraft nowadays because the combat just feels
That's nice, really good. Dude, I'm actually destroying this guy.
but the combat in Blue Protocol, depending on the class,
You're not lying though. Hey, the combat system is very, very important. It is very important, man. Because I mean, yeah, I can say the story. It's always a storyline to me, but the combat system. I mean, yeah, because if you constantly doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, then yeah, it becomes stale. Just like any other game, right? It becomes stale, and then you don't really want to play it anymore. So.
you choose is pretty damn good. The game features an action combat system with stagger and super armor based mechanics. It's snappy, responsive, and does an excellent job with the dodge and evade system. The interactions with the stamina system paired with mobs dealing actual damage feels very rewarding. There's no passive health regen, and potions are pretty expensive to craft, making the importance of avoiding damage and the opportunity to heal meaningful. However, there is one caveat. The combat can feel a little poop if you're the one not being targeted. Now, what do I mean by that?
What do you mean?
Well, using your movement to evade attacks is part of the gameplay, and rotating in your movement, basic attacks, and certain skills allows you to cycle through the combat in a way that just feels great. But if you're just sitting in the back, teeing off on an enemy that has a lot of HP, it can begin to feel somewhat auto-attack spammy. Now, this could be fixed by adjusting the damage on ranged auto attacks and skills while also reducing their active skill cooldowns to create something that's a bit more interactive. They also do have an interesting elemental synergy system allowing for crowd control and burst windows. That's pretty cool, I guess, but I'll leave that to the developers to figure out. I just play.
At first, I ain't gonna lie. At first, I was like, "Wait, what?" Because you know, as everybody plays a bit different role in everything they do. So I was like, "Wait, I'm so confused." So are you saying that like for instance, right, you're a tank, you're not supposed to tank, or because you know the whole purpose of tanking is to make sure everybody is attacking you. But maybe I misconstrued what he's saying or something. So that's probably my bad, or my stupidity.
Games, I don't design them. Overall, my friends and I were pretty taken back by how fun the combat was in a lot of scenarios. All right, with that being said, that's enough sucking this game off for the video. Let's talk about the things that need some improvement. Are you okay, just hanging out in the town but naked. The progression of Blue Protocol is, well, it feels at least very slow. And to be honest, it's not necessarily a bad thing. The flow of the game actually reminded me a lot of Vanilla WoW, with the leveling feeling like a larger aspect of the game, and it wasn't necessarily quote-unquote easy by any means. The problem is the adventure board. The adventure board is essentially how you'll progress your character in the early stages. And outside of the weapon crafting, which is your main source of item level, you will progress your character through this Imagine system.
Okay.
Think of these as like trinkets or accessories, and you will need these accessories to acquire that item level in order to progress through the game and the main story quest. When you're trying to progress this adventure board, a lot of the missions can feel quite repetitive. You'll be asked to gather certain
Same
rocks in the
things.
world,
Well, that's like,
or
oh,
slay and
well, I
collect
guess
X amount
somebody
of
would
mobs
kind
for
of
a
change
certain
that, I
number of
guess. But
goblin
yeah,
folk.
I can see what
And
you're
this
saying.
isn't necessarily out of the ordinary for an MMORPG, but the drop rates on some of these items are insanely low. You could be grinding in an area for quite some time before seeing any type of progression. And again, the variety.
I guess that does kind of suck. So I mean, if you got to go out and get a specific item just to be able to progress to the next level, and those item drops are like point 0.2 or something like that, then yeah, you'll be out there grinding all that dang night. I'm just giving an example in general, y'all. So
Variety of these quests are pretty lackluster, almost reminiscent of New World's original town board quests. I know my friend Cannon was very annoyed over the drop rates and this part of the progression. And because of this, your character feels like it's not growing in terms of item level for quite some time, which doesn't feel great. This also affects your overall leveling speed because you aren't able to turn in these quests, which are responsible for a large portion of experience. In fact, oftentimes you'd find yourself surrounded by overleveled mobs in effort to complete some of these adventure board quests.
Look at him. Look at this. I want you guys to see it's not just me. Look at this guy. Why are you attacking me? I don't even understand. I'm not even attacking you. Yo, naked. Ah!
oh damn.
These pigs are over to. Yo, he fell off the cliff. And to be honest, I think a lot of the enjoyment and progression was heavily affected by this adventure board variety and overall drop rates. Slow progression is great, but only up to a certain extent. There's definitely a happy medium there. Now, these complaints from players over the
Yeah, I guess. I guess so. Like I said, to me, it depends on the story, man, of it. I mean, but I can understand because yeah, if you're grinding away and you're killing all these monsters and doing your thing, and then you're barely getting any like experience points, then yeah, I guess that could be quite annoying actually after a while. So I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that, bro.
network test weekend were so apparent that the developers have responded to these complaints, stating that they're going to address a lot of these concerns and drop rates before the actual release, and separating issues that must be resolved before release and other concerns that can be fixed within a future update. It's great to hear the devs chime in on these topics, and judging by the community reception, it does seem that a lot of the player base feel the developers are listening to player concerns. I do hope that they can iron out these issues before the game is released in the West, because they were pretty apparent. Another concern was the map and the world of the game.
So my question is, I mean, I know they're saying they're gonna do this year, but I'm really wondering when they're gonna do it, because usually a Japanese game like this usually don't come out for another, like they may have it like 6 months to a year usually most of the time, way before we do. So like I think Final Fantasy 14 came out like the same time for everybody.
The world in Blue Protocol is amazing. It makes you want to like the game so much just because of how fun it is to spend your time in it. However, a lot of the experience can be hindered by the loading screens. Blue Protocol is not an open world MMO. It has a lot of loading screens similar to Final Fantasy XIV. However, my main concern with the game is that the loading screens in some of the areas are not done as eloquently as Final Fantasy XIV. There are clear lines within the zone that almost scale across the entire zone, and if you pass that line, you're going to hit a loading screen. Now, some of them are done via entering a city or a tunnel, but a few of these lines are just so blatant that it does actually take away from the immersion of the game. Sometimes I caught myself unconsciously trying to...
I mean, but you gotta have... To me, you still gotta have some type of, like, way to show... show the players like where you have to go, or before you get to this point, like, you know, you're gonna go into the next world or go into the next stage. So I mean, I don't know, like, to me, like, stuff like that don't really, that's personally me, it don't bother me, because like I said, when we play Final Fantasy 14 kind of got the exact same thing. I mean, once you get closer to the lines, I mean, it's just popping up there. So, but that's just my thought.
avoid crossing over one of these lines when doing a quest, because I just didn't want to hit a loading screen. And unlike the other topic, I'm not quite sure if this is something they'll be able to fix, as it seems more baked into the design of the game. And although loading screens can improve the performance of a game, it does kind of make me a little sad. Now, I know a lot of people will have concerns about the monetization of any Eastern MMO hitting the West, and rightfully so. The developers have said they don't want...
Asmongo, look here, y'all. I love Asmongo. Asmongo is king of MMORPGs. I love that dude so much, man. One day I'll be in his organization. You'll see. The true king. No, but that was funny when Aspen said he got banned. I was like, damn, bro, the hell did you do? But I guess that's understandable though too, because I mean technically it's only for Japanese players and you VPN and all of today's stuff. So damn.
Want the game to be pay to win in multiple
OTK,
ways, and
baby!
are looking to monetize the game through cosmetics, but there are some elements within the cash shop that can be considered pay to win or pay to progress by players. There are scrolls in the game that will give you extra loot at the end of a dungeon, and we have been told that you can earn them by just playing the game, but it does look like they plan to have them in the cash shop. And although the use of these scrolls are capped, they essentially save you the time from running an extra dungeon for additional materials to craft your weapon. There's also the potential to remove plugins, or in other words, gems.
That's gonna suck. That's a sad. That's sucky. That is sucky. Period. Because I don't know. To me, it's always been like, man. It feels so much better when you grind stuff out, right? To me, it feels so much better than when you're able to grind stuff out and get what you need from there, instead of having to be like, hey, I've been paid like $30-$40 for this extra scroll, and I got something that you got that I worked my butt off for, or that you work your butt off for, period. So that does, I don't know, man. Pay to win always been just off with me. Like I said, because I don't know. Like, it just seemed like you don't really have fun. You just,
From
you
your
don't grind for
weapon
nothing. You don't
use.
get nothing
These
out
have
of it.
also
I don't see
been
what you get
hinted
out
at
of
being
it.
placed in the cash shop. Whether you can earn those by playing the...
Now, let me reiterate that. Now, if you're trying to get like a mount or something, a mount that you can't get or something like that, yeah, that's understandable. Yeah. But something that progressively gets you more powerful, that sucks, man.
game, who knows? But that is, in a lot of players' eyes, a pay-to-win like feature. Now, I know a lot of people that are really excited about Blue Protocol will try to defend the monetization, saying that these things are earnable or it's a free-to-play game, but you just have to remember that everyone has a different tolerance towards monetization, so there's no point in really arguing about it in the comments. We'll just have to see how Bandai Namco and Amazon approach it for the Western release. The last thing I wanted to discuss is the importance of horizontal-like progression. In Blue Protocol, they have a pretty neat fishing system. It's actually very interactive, and there seems to be a wide...
Crazy thing, I have never... Personally, me. I don't know what it is. I cannot... And maybe I need to try, man. Maybe I just need to try and see how it is. Like, when it outside of fighting and doing the survey, or doing being like a blacksmith, like, fishing has never done anything for me. I don't know, man. Maybe I need to try. Maybe I try.
variety of fish that you can catch, as well as different size fish for personal records. Come on.
Sexy.
Come on, fish.
What the fuck? There's no way, man. That thing is small as shit, man. Are you crazy?
Now, from what I understand, they're planning to add more systems like this, but I don't believe any other were present during the beta. Personally, I think horizontal progression systems like fishing are equally important, and although not everyone will agree, I think an MMORPG is more than just about gear progression. It's about finding activities to keep you in the world, and that is where I think this game can
Yeah, he's absolutely right. He's definitely absolutely right though, because I guess that's why, like, for instance, with Final Fantasy 14, and I know I keep bringing up Final Fantasy 14, but that's the really biggest JRPG or MMORPG that I actually play. I mean, if again, as I just said a second ago, to me, if I'm not grinding something out, or just grinding to the point where I'm trying to get like certain materials or any type of new chest armor or anything like that, like I don't really Like I don't know, it's something like oh okay, but maybe that's what I said. Maybe if I go into fishing or something or do something different, maybe I'll feel different about it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, bro. What do you guys think about that? And if so, are you guys checking out Blue Protocol? That's another thing too.
So,
Bro.
having
I wanna
something
know,
that you can use
like,
to break up
for
the
some of
cycle
y'all.
of questing or forming dungeons with other players roaming around is truly what makes an MMO a unique experience amongst other genres. Whether it be cooking or playing music, casual progression systems like this I think are awfully undervalued. There were so many other things that I wanted to cover in this video, but I'd rather just save them for the Western beta. Overall, I really enjoyed my time playing Blue Protocol. I had so many fun experiences in the short amount of time that I played it, and I honestly felt pretty sad when the test was over. Like many people, I got hit with the 102 error code, and I tried my best to give you a pros and cons first impression. The game definitely has some work to do in certain areas, but it does seem to be backed by a team that is open to player feedback. And I think the game being
That's so
released
awesome.
in JP before coming to the West will allow for some extra needed development time. Like almost every single MMO I've ever played, the best product usually isn't the one at launch. So I think a little bit of extra time and feedback will do the game some good. Especially in today's age, as the launch can be make it or break it for many.
You are
With that
absolutely
being said,
right.
I personally believe a lot of people take MMORPGs way too seriously nowadays and forget what they're all about. In
Yeah.
my opinion, a much healthier approach to the genre is just to focus on having fun, exploring
What
the
the
world
hell
while you're
is that?
playing, and then when you stop having fun, well, you just stop playing, especially if it's free to play. And who knows, you may even find that special friend along the way. I'll see you all in the next one.
Aw.
Take care.
Man, he did an absolutely banger job, bro. Stoopz, you did awesome, guys. If you guys haven't, definitely check out Stoopz, man. He's an awesome YouTuber, man. But as I say, guys, I will be also definitely also be playing Blue Protocol. I don't know if I'll be playing it. I most likely will try to play it. I've been trying to like keep everything here on YouTube. So I definitely want to make sure if you guys haven't, I'm a live streamer here on YouTube. Y'all definitely come check your boy out, man. We will be playing it, and I hope to see some of you guys in there, man. So yeah, it'll be awesome. But let's get it, man. I almost made that like I was making a video, and I'm sitting here live streaming.